Hello everybody. Today I will show you how to run the GIMP image editor in a way which is slightly different from what we are used to do under Linux. In other operating systems we are used to download packages and install them and run them, and these packages contain everything which is needed to run a given program. And normally we can just download the latest version or update the versions we have. On the other hand, normally under Linux we use package managers, and we use the packages which are provided for the distribution we are using. And very often these versions are too old, and then we have to search for alternative package sources with updated software and so on and so forth. But this is somehow rather complicated, especially for newcomers. But there is an alternative way to run software under Linux, which is called AppImage. And AppImage is a package which contains everything needed to run a given program, including all the libraries and dependencies, which means that you can simply download this package, save it to disk in any Linux distribution, even an old one, and then run a bleeding edge software with the latest version without having to worry about the dependencies with other packages and other system libraries, because the system libraries will not be used, and instead the libraries included in the package will be taken. So let's see how to do that for GIMP. You have first to navigate to this web page, and the easiest way for the moment to find it is simply to search for this title of the topic on the web, and then it will immediately appear in your search results. And once you're on this page, you have here the link, direct link to the package, and then you right click on it and you save it to disk anywhere you like. I have put it into an applications folder just for convenience, but the place where you put it is not really important. And now that it is downloaded to your disk, the last step you need in order to run it is to go there and make this file executable. For example, like this. Or if you prefer to use the terminal, you can simply do chmod a+x and the name of the file. And at this point we can run it like any other executable under Linux. We go there, we double click on it, and it is started. And the first time you start it or you start a new version, it will ask you whether you want to install a desktop file, which is I highly recommend, because then you get also all the nice desktop integration that we will see in a moment. So I answer yes, and then GIMP fires up, and as you see, this looks exactly like the GIMP you have on your system, or maybe it looks better because it's newer. And in fact what we are doing here is to run the GIMP version which is included in the AppImage, and this GIMP version can be executed even if on your system you already have GIMP installed, because the version from the AppImage will not interfere with the version that you installed with your normal package manager. And even if the two versions do not correspond, the one from the AppImage will save the configurations and all these things into a different folder, and so it will not interfere with the GIMP you are used to run on your system. Now let's close it for a moment, and let's have a look at the applications menu. And under graphics, as you can see, there is a new item which appears, which is called GIMP AppImage. And if I click here, the GIMP from this AppImage package will be started instead of the one you installed with your package manager, if you have it. And now we can use it as the normal GIMP version. We can open a picture like this, and you have all the tools that you normally have in your GIMP version. You can do anything you do normally with GIMP, and in addition, with this AppImage, I am providing few very useful plugins that I will just describe now. One of the most famous ones is Gimmick, which is found here in the filters menu. If you click here, you get the usual interface of Gimmick, where you have a huge selection of filters that you can use, and of course I cannot go through them in this short tutorial, but you can have a look at the GIMP documentation if you don't know this plugin. Another very interesting plugin which is found in the layer menu is the liquid rescale. This plugin is able to change the size of your image in a way that preserves the important features that the image shows. So for example, if I increase a little bit the width like this, you will see that the butterfly was not really stretched. Only the portions of the image which don't contain important features have been enlarged, and the proportions of the butterfly, which has very tiny details, have been practically preserved. So this is a very convenient way to slightly change the size of your image in case you need to fit with a specific aspect ratio, but you still want to have it looking natural. Okay, and another interesting filter which you might use from time to time can be find here in the Enhance section, and it's called Heal Selection, and it's very useful to remove small details which are disturbing by filling it with content taken from the outside or from the surrounding of the detail you want to remove. Okay, but this is not all. This GIMP AppImage is also providing a plugin which is called PhotoFlow, and which can be used to, for example, open and process raw files and then get them included into GIMP. So let's make an example. I will go there, and instead of opening a JPEG file, I will open a raw file in NEF format, and as you can see, a new window is opened and the raw file is processed. And now if I hit here on the OK button, the processed file is sent back to GIMP and gets shown in a new layer. But that's not all, because in fact all the parameters that were used to process the raw file are not lost when you close the plugin, but they are stored together with the GIMP file. And now if I rerun PhotoFlow on the same layer and I choose to edit the current layer, the raw file will be opened again and I can continue the processing. So for example, here I can change the white balance and I can increase the exposure to make the picture brighter. I can remove hot pixels in case your camera has some bad pixel here and there. You can change the type of the demonstration which is applied, and you can also change the type of color conversion for the raw file. And now if I hit OK, this is again and there's a new version where it will replace the one that was there before. But there's a plugin is not only useful to edit a raw file, but also to do other kind of edits on the images. So if I run it again, but this time I select create new, what happens is that the content of this layer will be taken and then used as a starting point for a new edit. So as you see, now I don't have access anymore to the parameters for processing the raw file, because I'm taking the results of the raw processing as a starting point for additional edits. And for example, I can put some curves to increase the contrast of the image, and maybe also making the midtones a bit brighter. And I can convert this to black and white, and if I don't like this, I can disable the layer just to remove this effect. I can, for example, sharpen this image a little bit using the unsharp mask, putting a slightly bigger radius, and now we can zoom in to see the effect of this. So if I hide the sharpening layer, I get the initial image, and if I enable it, I can see the sharper version. And also the effects can be associated to masks. So for example, I can decide, if I double click here, I have access to the opacity mask of this layer, and then I can, for example, draw some path around my subject like this, with a larger transition, and invert this mask. And as you can see now, this part here is preserved from the desaturation, and the rest of the image gets desaturated. Of course, this is not something I would do on one of my pictures, but this is just to give you an idea of what can be done. And now if again I hit OK, maybe removing this ugly desaturation, the image is again here, as you will see, where I have now the result of the processing with some more contrast and with better sharpness, as you can see. And again, I can rerun the PhotoFlow plugin, and this time say that I want to edit again this second layer. And my processing parameters, including those which were deselected, so I can put back this ugly desaturation and send the data back to GIMP. And so this is all for the moment about how to use this GIMP app image and the plugins that are included into it. But before finishing with this short tutorial, I just want to go back to the Pixelas website, because I not only recommend you to have a look at this page, but also at the forums, where you will find a lot of interesting discussions and a lot of people ready to give you help, answer questions, and give you tips for editing. And also I suggest you to visit the main pixels.us website, because there you will, for example, find several useful articles, all centered on doing processing of pictures using only free and open source tools, not only GIMP, but Darktable, Raw Therapy, of course PhotoFlow, and others. So this is a very good place to go and learn new things and explore all what can be done with open source software. And this is all for this first tutorial. Probably there will be more coming about GIMP, about PhotoFlow, and about photo editing in general. Thanks for your attention. Bye.